Hi, Corey speaking.
Hi, Corey. It's Ian Thomas calling.
How are you?
Not too bad for an old coot.
Well, thank you for giving me a call. This is awesome. This is an honor to talk with you about music and about lunch at Allen's, and I got all kinds of questions lined up here for you. So if it's okay, I'll just start hammering away at them.
Absolutely.
I wanted to first ask about first international hit back in '73, "Painted Ladies." When you recorded the song, when you wrote it, did you have any idea it was going to be so giant and launch your career?
That's interesting, because I think when you're young and full of yourself, you think everything you write should be a hit. So I think in that context, there's probably there was an element of expectancy, but when it started moving at the charts, it was an amazing feeling.
I wanted to ask what keeps you grounded when you're songwriting. Like you mentioned, you start and you think everything's going to be awesome, and then as your career develops, you have some setbacks, you have some challenges. What was that driving force that made you not just give up and do something different?
Well, I think the desire to write is. My brother Dave thinks it's as much an affliction as it is a talent. So I think there's truth to that. I write whether there's an outlet for it or not. So I think, fortunately for me, the process of writing was way more important to me than, wanting to be a big star or anything. So I always had my stick on the ice for writing songs or books or whatever. And I've got 3 books in the works, and I'm getting ready to do another record. So I can't see this dying out.
I wanted to ask about the differences between writing a song and then writing a book.
Actually, in some respects, the similar regimen is they're all about rewriting.
Yeah.
A book is maybe more about rewriting because it's obviously it's a longer piece of work. But it's about honing lines down until, or a song, honing the idea down till it feels satisfying. And, I was always interested in how there's so many different song structures that I began to realize, no, the only real criteria for a good song is whether it feels like a satisfying listen. And so, I think that same regimen applies to virtually all of the arts.
When you're songwriting, do you have a go-to instrument that you kind of work with as you do it?
No, basically anything that's handy.
Yeah.
So, piano, a keyboard of any sort, guitar, mandolin, they are all ways of figuring out harmony, etc.
Through your career, was there a song that was the most challenging, or one that you put down or gave up on a few times before it was crafted the way you wanted it?
Well, yeah, I gave up on "Hold On," which was a hit for me and Santana, and I gave up on it because I thought the lyric was just kind of schmaltzy, and I kept trying to make it about something and make it a little more, I guess, philosophically driven. And my wife, I was getting ready to throw it out. My wife said, "Don't you dare throw this out, and don't mess with it anymore. It makes me feel good." And so I was really appreciative for that because, God knows the Santana cover helped put the kids through university.
Awesome. I'm so looking forward to Lunch at Allen's back on Prince Edward Island for a couple of shows. Do you have a favorite person to write with?
Well, I'm a loner for the most part. I write by myself. I have written with Mark and Murray, and they were a delight to write with. We're all very different.
Yeah.
So generally, I've been a loner my whole life, and that's sort of my regimen. But I do have another partner I've written with by the name of Tim Tickner. We wrote some songs for the first Boomers album together, and we've actually written a couple of commercials together over the years that were great fun. So yeah, there's there are one or two people. Mark Jordan and I wrote the Music Monday song for the schools in Canada this year, and that was a very satisfying experience as well. I think maybe the older I'm getting, the easier I am to work with other people.
I wanted to ask, do you have a favorite holiday of the year?
Well, you know what? I love the idea of Thanksgiving, that everybody takes time to be with family, and certainly here in Canada to be so grateful for the good fortune of being citizens of this country and being born here for me. So yeah, I think the meaning of Thanksgiving as we celebrate it in Canada is pretty powerful. I don't think I know of families that aren't getting together, either at their cottages in Northern Ontario or wherever, but it's really a wonderful time to sort of sit back and actually be really, truly thankful for what we have in this amazing, the best country on the planet.
You are right. I want to quickly, while you're on the topic of family, you mentioned your brother. Did you guys come from an entertaining family? What made you both become entertainers?
Well, originally my father was a Baptist minister, so that's a bit like show business. And then he had too many questions to remain in the pulpit, so he was a philosophy professor and medical ethicist. But he had a very British sense of humor. So Dave and I were brought up on, the Goons and Peter Sellers and Beyond the Fringe and all of that stuff. So the dinner table was always a place of improvisation and making one another laugh. So definitely in the gene pool and the way we were brought up.
I have 3 little ones, 2 boys and a girl, and my 2 boys are both class clowns at our house all the time. And I think they're probably destined to be entertainers in some fashion. Thank you so much for taking time to talk with me today, and we'll see you when you're here in Charlottetown and Summerside with Lunch at Allen's.
Thanks very much, Corey. Great chatting with you. All the best.